substances which allow electricity to pass through them easily are called the conductor, but in which charge particles or charges cannot move easily in a body called the insulator or bad conductors. In metallic conductor, these charge carriers are the free electrons. In metallic conductor, the electrons which are in the outer orbit experiences less force, so they can move freely inside the metal but cannot leave the metal. These electrons are called free electrons. Those free electrons collide with each other and with the ions, and move randomly in different directions. See here, let us say this is a conductor. If there is a free electron, rather we can say there is a large number of free electrons. And if there is a free electron, then there will be of course positive ions. Because if an atom loses an electron, that means in the outer orbit one electron leaves the atom, then that atom is a positive ion. No longer it is an atom because it loses an electron. So this is a positive ion. That means in a metallic conductor there is a large number of free electrons as well as there is a large number of ions which are fixed at their positions because these are heavier. They cannot move. They are fixed in their positions. But free electrons are moving randomly here and there. And during their motion, they collide with each other and also collide with the positive ions. So you can say, in absence of an electric field, there is no net motion of the free electrons. Is it clear? There is no net motion of the free electrons. Because at some instant you can say 100 number of electrons move from left side to right side, then 100 number of free electron move from right side to left side. That means there is no motion. You can assume there is no motion. Now in an external electric field, these electrons experiences a force in a particular direction. That means in the direction opposite to the applied field. So these electrons drift against the direction of the field. Is it clear? Now if we apply an electrostatic field, external electrostatic field in this direction, then each and every free electron experiences a force along this direction. So they now want to move from right side to left side, here from right side to left side. But they cannot move freely because there is large number of free electrons and large number of atoms. During their motion they collide again and stop, and again they try to move in the left side. This motion is called drift of the electron, and due to this drift there is an electricity. We will discuss later on in the current electricity chapter. In electrolyte, the conductor charge carriers are both positive and negative ions. Positive ions are called cations and negative ions are anions. Now some important results regarding electrostatics of conductors. Number one, electrostatic field is zero inside a conductor. Number one, electrostatic field is zero inside a conductor. consider this is a conductor which is placed in an external electric field. Let us say here is an external electric field E0. Now, due to this external electric field, the free electrons of the conductor experiences a force in a direction opposite to the external field. So, there will be accumulation of free electrons in this side, which produces accumulation of positive charges in the opposite side. Therefore, this redistribution of charges create its own electric field, which is opposite to the applied external field. Is it clear? Now this induced electric field acts in a direction opposite to the direction of the external electric field, and its magnitude is equal to the magnitude of external electric field. Thus, the electric field inside the conductor is 0. This is EP, you can say, induced electric field, and this EP will be equal in static condition, and therefore E plus EP will be equal to 0. E0 is the applied electric field, which is in a direction from left side to right side, but here there will be redistribution of charged particles. That means one side will be positive charge, other side will be negative charge, and thus produces an induced electric field, and that electric field will be in a direction opposite to the external electric field, thus producing the net field is 0. Thus we can say there will be no electric field inside an conductor, so there will be no electric field lines inside a conductor. Electric field is 0, therefore no field lines inside a conductor. This is the first property of a conductor for electrostatic. Now, proceeding to the second property. Second property of conductor in an electrostatic field. At the surface of a charged conductor, electrostatic field must be normal to the surface. At surface, inside electric field is 0, but at the surface of the conductor, electrostatic field must be normal to the surface. This is the second property. That means if this is a conductor, here field will be perpendicular to the surface. Here field will be perpendicular to the surface. Inside there will be no field, right? Inside E will be equal to 0, but at the surface electric field must be perpendicular to the surface. That means there will be no tangential component of electric field. No tangential component. Tangential to what? Tangential to the surface of the conductor. There will be no component. If E were not normal to the surface, then there will be a tangential component. So, the free charges on the surface of the conductor experiences a force and move. If the field is not normal to the surface, then making an angle, then there will be component along the surface which is tangential. That means the free electrons on the surface of the conductor experiences a force. That means the free electrons will move due to this force in static condition or static situation. Therefore, E should have no tangential component. If electrons are moving, then situation is not static. When the electrons are in static position or situation is static, then the electrons, free electrons on the surface of the conductor experiences no force. So the tangential component of the field should be 0. That means field will be normal to the surface. The third thing, the interior of a conductor can have no excess charge in static situation. There should be no charge, no excess charge inside a conductor. All the excess charge can reside on the surface of a conductor. From Gauss's law we know closed integration E dot ds is equal to Q by epsilon or Q enclosed by epsilon. Now this integration carried over the surface. Now since E is 0 in the interior of a conductor, E is 0, we already proved that. E is 0 inside a conductor. Now since E is 0, therefore left side is 0, therefore you can say Q enclosed is 0. That means no charge can reside inside a conductor. Any excess charge must reside at the surface. Now proceed to the fourth property of the conductor. Electrostatic potential is constant throughout the volume of the conductor and has the same value on its surface. Electrostatic potential throughout the volume of a conductor is constant, and this constant potential will be equal to the potential at the surface of the conductor. That means if this is a conductor, then any point inside the conductor has the same potential, and also this is equal to the potential at the surface. Now since E is equal to 0 inside the conductor and has no tangential component on the surface, so you can say no work is to be done in moving a charge within the conductor and on its surface. Since E is 0 here, then you can move a charge from one point to another point without doing any work. And also we have proved that the field at the surface is normal to the surface. That means there is no tangential component of the field on the surface. So there if we want to move a charge from one point to another point on the surface of a conductor, no work to be done. And if there is no work to be done, that means there is no potential difference. If no work to be done in moving a charge from one point to another point, that means there is no potential difference. That means each and every point have the same potential. Potential difference 0 means the potential is same at the surface of the conductor and also equals to the point inside, any point inside the conductor. In a system of conductor of arbitrary size, shape and charge configuration, each conductor is characterized by a potential. Though different conductor has different potential. That means if this is a conductor, then this conductor can be categorized or can be expressed as a constant potential. Here, each conductor is characterized by a constant potential. This is another conductor. Size shape different, charge configuration different. That means this has also a constant difference, but it is constant potential, but it is different from this conductor. If this conductor has a constant potential V1, this conductor has a potential V2, then V1 may not be equal to V2, may not or be whatever. That means any conductor is characterized by a fixed potential. This is the fourth property. Now proceeding to the fifth property, electric field at the surface of a charged conductor is proportional to the surface charge density at that point. Or you can say electric field at the surface of a charged conductor. Electric field at the surface of a charged conductor is equal to sigma by epsilon 0 Nm, where sigma is the surface charge density and Nm is the unit vector normal to the surface outward direction. Let us consider this is a conductor. Now you are going to find the electric field at point P. To calculate the electric field at point P, we consider a small area element ds and consider a Gaussian surface, pillbox type Gaussian surface with a cross sectional area ds. Now at this region, if surface charge density is sigma, then the charge inside this volume is sigma ds, which can be written as Q enclosed, right? Now we have already proved that field at this point is along this direction. Field is along this direction, right? And field inside the conductor is 0. Therefore, from Gauss's law, we can say closed integration E dot ds, integration taken over the closed surface, is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon E. We can divide this closed surface into three segments. One is the top surface of the pillbox, another is bottom surface, and third surface is the curved surface. For the bottom surface, E is 0. For the curved surface inside the conductor, E is 0, and outside electric field is perpendicular to the surface, and the surface area is, rather you can say the electric field is perpendicular to the curved surface in the outside region for curved surface, and for this surface direction of ds and direction of E is parallel. That means E is parallel to the surface direction, that is perpendicular to the surface. Therefore, you can say surface 1, which is this, surface 2, which is this, and surface 3 is the curved surface. For surface 1, E dot ds plus surface 2, E dot ds, and E dot ds, which is through the surface 3, and Q enclosed is sigma ds divided by epsilon E. Now for surface 1, for this surface, E is parallel to ds, therefore you can write E ds cos E. For second surface, that is bottom surface, E is 0, therefore this will be 0, and for the curved surface E dot ds, E is perpendicular to ds, therefore this is 0, which is equals to sigma ds y epsilon naught, or you can say E equals to sigma ds divided by epsilon naught into ds, that is sigma y epsilon. That is electric field at the surface is equal to sigma by epsilon 0, and in the vector form E will be equal to sigma by epsilon 0 n hat, where n hat is the unit vector normal to the surface in the outward direction. If sigma is positive, then the field line will be away from the conductor. If sigma is negative, then field lines will be towards the conductor. We are now going to discuss another property which is called electrostatic shielding or electrostatic screening. The method of protecting a region from an external electric influence is called electrostatic screening or electrostatic shielding. The method of protecting a region from the effect of external electric field is called electrostatic shielding. We have already proved that electric field inside a charged conductor or charged spherical cell is 0. We have proved using the Gauss's theorem that electrostatic field inside a charged spherical cell is 0. We have proved that using the Gauss's theorem. But this vanishing of electric field in the cavity of a conductor is applied for any type of conductor. Though we have proved it for a spherical cell, but it is true for any type of conductor. That means the electric field inside any conductor or inside a cavity of a conductor is 0. That means if this is a conductor and there is a cavity, this is the cavity, then inside the cavity E is 0. E is 0, electric field is 0. It doesn't depend upon the size or shape of the cavity. Whatever be the charge and field configuration outside, any cavity in a conductor remains shielded from outside field or outside electric influence. The field inside the cavity is always 0. This is known as electrostatic shielding. Since this region inside this cavity E is 0, which also results Q is 0. That means any excess charge cannot reside inside the cavity. E is 0. That means if we place here any body, anything, you can place here a conductor, then another conductor you can place here, then the force on that conductor will be also 0. There is no influence on that conductor. That means this region is shielded from electrostatic field. There is no influence of external field inside the cavity. Clear? This phenomena is called electrostatic screening or electrostatic shielding. This effect can be made use of in protecting sensitive instruments from the outside electric influence. That means if we want to protect an electric instrument from the influence of external electric field, then we have to place that instrument inside a cavity of conductor. If we place here that electric instrument, then that electric instrument will be free from the external electric influence. These are some properties of conductor in electrostatics.